city. So we're not stuck on any one part of the city. If one part doesn't work, the other parts doesn't work. You know, crime creeps all the way across, blight creeps across, and also prosperity creeps across. So we want to try to represent them. You know, the neighborhoods are the backbone of any good community. So, with all that being said, we got some good items that we want to cover this morning, but I got to put a plug in first off about education. Now, no matter the last Friday in February, and we'll be at the Gordon Club where we've been for a number of years now, and we're looking forward to having a great event. Miss Cynthia Purefoy from the Atlanta EPA Enforcement Division, she'll be here as our guest speaker. And we have a little young dynamic MC who is Blaine Alexander from Channel 12. So we're looking for a real high spirit and good program. And we have some folks, two years ago our guest speaker was Judge David Ruffin. And y'all know he has passed. So we want to also have a mention about the judge at our banquet. And our previous guest speaker from last year has left his job as a state senator and went on to become the federal southern prosecutor. So you know, see what happens when you come to the alliance. You know, you can move up. Okay. So okay. Also, we want to ask everyone to also sign in on the 2 sign-in sheets that are going around. All right. This morning we have the District 4 Richmond County Board of Education trustee, Ms. Barbara Pulliam, and she has asked Dr. Brown from the Board of Education, from the Richmond County School, administration. She's going to come out here and talk to us about some very particular and required math skills and things that the student has to have. So whether you are a parent or a grandparent, or you can take this back to your neighborhood association. There are some good issues that we will be talking about here. And also, we have some flyers concerning that, and we're going to ask those to go around. This is so important that we put together another meeting. And this meeting will talk about these same math issues. So we will take a couple of them.
What we all need to know as we move forward in helping our students become the best that they can be. What I want to focus on primarily this morning are some of the changes that we're seeing in the requirements for high school students to get and earn a high school diploma. And as Ms. Pulliam mentioned, math seems to be the one that has changed dramatically for our students, and the sooner they know about it, the better off they're going to be. And we were talking just a few minutes ago, now is the time for our middle school students, our 8th graders, to start looking at what's expected of them next year when they get into 9th grade. A lot of times we see problems occur in the senior year when something has been overlooked or forgotten, and some students are not aware, or they say they're not aware of something that they needed and did not get along the way. We try to make sure that does not happen, as I said earlier, by starting in the middle schools, starting with pre-registration this time of year, to make sure that by the end of this year they have in place everything that they need going into the 9th grade. The thing about the changes is that the state will make a change every few years. But what we need to remember, and what the students need to know, is that once that change is made with their 9th grade year, it won't change for that group of students. So it's not as if they're changing on them all the time and they have to switch gears. Whatever requirements are in place when a student enters 9th grade will stay with that group until they graduate. And so the change was made last year as far as the math and the science is concerned. And those students who entered 9th grade last year, those changes will stay with them until they graduate. We have students graduating this year that's under a different guideline, a different rule. The rule that was in place 4 years ago when they were in 9th grade. Am I making sense? Okay, I tend to talk fast, so kind of stop me as I go along. I want to make this performance. If you have any questions as I go along, by all means, let's just kind of make sure we get all the questions answered. And high school, at some points, counselors will stop and do a status letter. They send letters home to parents. Dear Mariah Brown, after reviewing your child's transcript, we have discovered that he or she has earned 15 of the 25 credits that's needed for graduation. Please check below to see the courses your child still needs. Your child has passed the math and the language arts part of the Georgia High School graduation test. He or she still needs the science, social studies, and the writing. Those are the kinds of information that's on the status letter. And they should get those twice a year. And they also have academic advisement. They have parent night. So we all going to have to take a part in making sure that we get all of this information. And when we don't get it, we have to remember to ask. Because there's a reason why it didn't get to you. We don't know. I'm not saying that's the case here, but I'm just talking in general. And as a senior counselor, I can just remember so vividly, and it was a good experience. I enjoyed working with the students. I can just remember so vividly. I've got 5 parents I have not seen or heard from, can't reach yet. I've got to do something because we're going into the second 6 weeks, and they've got to know that this child needs to go to evening school if they're going to graduate because she failed last year. So it's a constant thing to make sure. It's not just enough to tell the students. It should be, but it isn't. And we know that. And the reality of it is we have to tell the students more than one time. We have to keep telling them. Because they'll forget. They'll look you in the face and say, I've never heard that before in my life. That's the reality of it. So we have to keep telling them. And we also have to keep telling the parents because things change. Sometimes we have a parent with a student in the 9th grade and one that's a senior. The one that's a senior only needed half a unit of fine arts, the one that's a 9th grade needed a unit. That's why this piece of paper here is so important. And we give this to them, tells them exactly what they need. And on the second page, if you turn over the second page, this is what we call an academic check sheet. And students and parents will tell me, oh, I put that on my closet door in my room so that as I pass classes, I can mark them off and I can see what's still left. This is just a visual of what's on the first page.
That they are educated and graduated. All right. So this is important to why. That's why it's important to this group. A lot of us may not have kids in school anymore, but we got them in our neighborhoods and we got them in our jails. And the best way we can help ourselves is to help these parents understand what they need to do. If your daughter got kids and your goddaughter, you know we have a lot of godparents in here. So get with your goddaughters and your godsons and your god-granddaughters and grandsons and put the word to them. Really, they need to get this because I'll tell you, if they don't graduate, the chances are they'll be in some kind of other organization that's not good for the neighborhood or the city. We kind of introduced folks around this morning when we started, just kind of to let the diversity of the group be known. We've had folks come in from Turpin Hill, raise your hand. We had folks come in from Walton Acres.
The house.
We had our new senator-elect, he won't be soon, he'll be the senator. All right, then we're going to get around everybody. We had our Barton Chapel come in.
Right here.
All right. And we got a group there. So we have a very good, diverse group this morning. We also have our former solicitor. He's in the house. And we had another Pepperidge, not Pepperidge, but Rich Forrest come back in again. Okay? So, with that being said, we're going to get to our political folks where we kind of had a problem. Senator, you in a hurry?
No, sir.
Okay.
I think I'm going where most of these folks are going.